Welcome to episode 626 of salsidoparanormal. I'm your host, James Salsido, and tonight we are continuing our review of Orpheus, Mythos of the World by Padraic column. And again, this is on mythology. And as always, you can find all episodes of the show on the podcast page, along with links to social media and other ways to contact me. And that is salsidoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions or accounts of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. Thank you all for listening, whether you are here for the live streams on Discord or if you listen to the podcast or YouTube feeds, or on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP, Digital Broadcasting. There you can hear replays of 2 episodes of the show every night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, right before Troubled Minds Radio comes on. And as always, I want to thank Michael Strange, host of Troubled Minds Radio, for having me on the network and putting all my shows up there. If you'd like to help out the show, you can do that in a few different ways. You can always share the show with others and rate and review it on your favorite podcast platform. You can find books I've written, including my most recent one, over on Amazon, paranormal fiction and nonfiction. You can sign up for the Patreon page and get 2 extra episodes every week, whenever possible, of true paranormal stories from the web. Or you can just make one-time donations through PayPal. Support is never expected, but always appreciated, as there are expenses in making these shows, from equipment to research materials to travel expenses in some cases. And this is getting back into the usual show schedule and structure here. Thank you all for being patient this last few weeks as I did some different shows and even took 1 week off, I believe, in the middle of all that, and completely and hopefully you all have enjoyed the Twilight Zone episodes. There will be more of those. I'm just going to save them when I record them and do more of these shows, the usual ones. And then when I need a week off again, I will share whatever I have recorded of those Twilight Zone episodes, because I've been enjoying those reviews so far as well. It's just that those were never meant to be the main show. So anyway, getting back to this mythology here, we are just finished the last episode. We just finished the section on Icelandic or Norse mythology, and now we're getting into mythology from India, the region of the world known as India. So this first section is called Vedic, the heavenly nymph and her mortal husband. And that's this first section here. This tells the story, and again, I forget to mention, first of all, I will be terrible at pronouncing names. I always do what I can, but names of places, just words in general, from other regions of the world, so I apologize for that. Also, these mythology episodes, and these episodes based on public domain books, how I make them is I have the AI summarize the original text for me. And I read these summaries, and then we talk about them on the show and discuss the whatever paranormal aspects to them that there may be that I can think of, or that anyone who's in the chat is able to think of as well. So that's how these shows are going. And so here we go again with this next one here. This one says, it tells the story of King Pururavas, P-U-R-U with a symbol over it, I'm not sure what that is, R-A-V-A-S, and the heavenly nymph, Urvashi, U-R-V-A-S-H-I, Pururavas, that's going to be terrible to say from now on. The king made offerings to the gods, Agni, Indra, and Varuna, seeking help to find Urvashi after she left him, but they did not aid him. Puravaras had promised never to let Urvashi see him unclothed, but the Gandharva, Gandharva, which is her celestial companion, tricked him into breaking this vow. And again, just keep in mind, if it helps, and if you don't like to think about some of these things in a more literal way, that's totally fine. I try to think of it all more as just concepts and imagery to whatever degree that works for myself and for you all. So Urvashi disappeared after seeing the king again unclothed at night when Gandharva stole her pet lambs. Puravaras went wandering the world in search of Urvashi. He met the dawn goddess, D-A-W-N, USAS, the twin horsemen, Ashwins, and the sun maiden, Surya, Surya, but they did not help him. He prayed to the sky god, Dyaus, Dyaus, and earth goddess, Prithvi, Prithivi, who showed him a lake with swans that turned into apsaras, Apsars, including Urvashi. So I believe that might be another word for nymph. I'm not sure though. Urvashi said she was now as hard to catch as the winds, but moved by his devotion, that's the king's devotion, allowed him to meet her on the last night of the year. She instructed him to ask to become an immortal like them. So here you have people being sort of instructed on how to become more than just regular people, more than mortal, basically immortal, another kind of being in a way. The Gandharva granted him this boon, allowing Puravaras to live eternally with Urvashi, and that's where that one ends. So it seems like the whole sort of the most amazing of that aspect of that is just the person after seeking what they were looking for so long, eventually they were aided, but the price for sort of finding what they were looking for was to become like what they were looking for, like their queen or their partner. And but the whole immortality thing, I mean, in a way, yes, it sounds great, but also I don't know about that sometimes. I would like that. So I would guess it'd be sort of a mixed blessing there in a way. Moving on to the next section here. This one is called Epic, the Churning of the Ocean. This one says, so it describes the mythological story of the churning of the ocean of milk by the gods, Devas, and Asuras, Asuras, and that's demons apparently. The Asuras had great possessions, but lacked inner powers, while the gods gained powers through sacrifices and righteousness. To gain the Amrita, Amrita, which is immortal nectar, they decided to churn the ocean of milk. And I wonder if this is, again, if you think of ocean, you think of water, which is also sort of, it's life-giving. It's similar in that way to milk in a way. It says they used Mount Mandara as the churning rod. Again, this is mount, so mountain. A piece of a world is being used as the churning rod. They used the serpent Vasuki Vasuki, as the churning rope. They churned for 1,000 years, during which Vasuki spat venom that threatened to destroy the universe. So you have these two things going on here. They're trying to accomplish one thing, but one of the tools they're using to accomplish it is also causing problems as well. It says Shiva drank the venom, turning his throat blue, allowing the gods to gain more powers. And I've heard the name before of Shiva. Maybe we'll get into that more later on here in this section. I don't know, but we can look into that later. But you can also look into it yourselves if you want to. Shiva. From the churning emerged the wish-fulfilling cow, Surabi, Surabhi, the Apsara, which are celestial nymphs. So I was right about that. The moon, taken by Shiva. The jewel, Kaustubha, Kaustubha. The divine horse. Oh boy. Uccaishravas. Uccaishravas. The goddess Lakshmi, or Shri. They have that dash there. Lakhshmi or Shri, which is fortune, who sided with the gods. Finally, the sage Dhanvantari, Dhanvantari, appeared with the Amrita. The Asuras tried to seize it. Vishnu disguised himself as a beautiful woman to distract them. The gods drank the Amrita, gaining immortality. The gods defeated the Asuras, banishing many to the underworld as demons, or deities, Daityas. After that, the divine abodes of Indra, Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma were made on the golden Mount Meru. And so these are the various gods. Indra has a throne. Vishnu rests on a serpent. Shiva dwells in a flower forest. Shiva's third eye appeared when Parvati covered his eyes, saving the world. So you have a lot going on there. It doesn't even go into detail on how exactly all that happened. But you have the forming of different parts of the world, using other parts of the world and other creatures. So massive things going on here in a way. Let me see here. The next section here is called The Birth of the Ganges, and I believe that's a part of the world. But let me just check on everything here, make sure everything's going well with the recording. So let's see here. Ricky in the chat here says, if only you had immortality, you would get to see your loved ones die over and over forever. Yeah. Be a hard life to live if you had a heart. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep, definitely. And just, I don't know, to see the same cycles. I mean, I'm guessing if it's immortality, you would see, I mean, parts of the world grow more prosperous, and then that over time that would reverse itself. You would see, I'm guessing you would see countries or regions or nations just rise and fall and change, and all the, sometimes, a lot of cases, the violence that would come with that, and not, and overall not be able to, if that's the only, if immortality is the only ability you had, you wouldn't be able to do a ton about all that. And I mean, over time, I would guess you would be sort of ostracized and looked upon as not being normal and kept away from whatever's going on, unless you, again, didn't have a heart and just took over. So, anyway, good point there in the chat. Moving on to the next section here. Let me see. There we go. Okay. I think we have time for at least one more. The sage Bhagirath, Bhagiratha, performed severe austerities for 1,000 years to earn a boon from Brahma, who was one of the gods. He asked that the 60,000 sons of King Sagara, Sagara, whose ashes lay in the earth, be allowed to ascend to heaven. This required the sacred Ganges River to flow over their ashes and purify them. Brahma agreed and said Ganga, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, would descend from heaven, but her forceful descent could destroy the earth, the world. The only way to break her fall was for Shiva to receive her stream on his head. After more austerities, Shiva agreed and let Ganges waters wander in the locks of his hair for seasons, FOR seasons. This shamed Ganga for her arrogance in threatening to sweep Shiva away. Finally, at Bhagiratha's plea, Shiva released Ganga in 7 streams onto the earth. The middle stream, pure and bright, followed Bhagiratha's chariot. So that's the overall summary there. So when it goes into more detail here, it says the backstory of all this. It goes into describing that. King Sagara wanted to be proclaimed ruler of the lands that a horse could roam, so basically the earth. But the horse went missing, taken to the earth center. Sagara's 60,000 sons went to retrieve it and attacked the sage Kapila there, Kapila. But Kapila burnt them all to ashes with his flame. So that's how they passed. Bhagiratha's ancestor kings also performed rites to bring Ganga down. Only Bhagiratha's great austerities finally persuaded Brahma, the deity there. Ganga's waters flowed over the ashes of the center of the earth. This purified the 60,000 sons, allowing their souls to ascend to heaven. And that's the end of that section there. So yeah, there's quite a lot that goes into a lot of these tales, but that's amazing how just these beings can be part of or used to be part of the planet, but also they're separate, but then they're part of it at different times in different ways. So, and again, that's you see that in so many parts of the world. That is a common thing. So, and makes me wonder about the idea of the planet itself or parts of the planet being sentient. And is that where that kind of those kinds of themes, those kinds of topics came from? Or those kinds of accounts, and maybe they were sort of meant to be explanations for things that happened way back when that indicated some kind of sentience on the part of just the world around the people that were having experiences. I don't know. That's sort of just a possibility that seems like it might be there to me anyway. See how long the next section is and if we can get through it. Because, yeah, I don't know. We can start it anyway, though. Because it does look like it's a long one, but also we still have 4 minutes. The next section is called Savitri and the Lord of the Dead. So this happened. The people involved in the story, or the beings, are Princess Savitri, known for her beauty and devotion. She's the daughter of King Ashvapati of Madras, Ashvapatai. Savitri's father is concerned because she remains unwedded. So here you have that going on. The king decided he allowed Savitri to choose her own husband, which is apparently a thing that was not done all the time. I think I've heard about that before. Different parts of the world do things differently. Savitri travels to holy places to find suitable sage or princely to find a suitable sage or a princely husband. In the end, she chose Prince Satyavant, Satyavant, the son of a blind exiled king. Despite learning from the sage Narada, Narada, that Satyavant will die in a year, Savitri insists on marrying him. Savitri marries Satyavant and lives with him and his parents in the forest, serving them dutifully. Savitri's happiness is overshadowed by the knowledge of Satyavant's impending death. As the year nears its end, Savitri fasts and prays for her husband's life. On the day Satyavant is to die, Savitri accompanies him into the forest. Satyavant collapses and dies. Yama, the Lord of the Dead, arrives to take his soul, or spirit. Savitri follows Yama, asserting her duty to stay with her husband. Let's see here. It says that after that, Savitri persuaded Yama to grant gifts or boons to her father-in-law's family, such as her father-in-law's sight and the kingdom to be restored, and for her husband to have descendants. Yama, impressed by her devotion, returned Satyavant's life. Savitri and Satyavant returned to the hermitage where Satyavant's father regained his sight. Messengers arrived announcing the usurper's death and requesting the old king's return. Savitri and Satyavant eventually become king and queen, and they have many descendants. And that's where that section ends, so we actually made it. So you have, again, these encounters with people and deities and all kinds of magic going on there in different ways. So, and spirits. And so, yeah, that was a neat one there. I'm sure there's a lot that, again, it was just a summary, so I'm sure there's a lot of other details that would also be amazing. But if we sort of went through every one of these accounts, these mythologies in every detail, this we would still be in the first section of that book probably. So thank you all for being here, and I will talk to you all next time on Salsidoparanormal. Take care.